GreaseBook software has been really easy for me to get started with, and then I rolled it out to my pumpers once I decided that I was going to stick with it. As a matter of fact, all of my pumpers love it and are in the process of adding their other wells, their contract for me, so they can use it on their phone. Some of them have iPads. It's just real simple. All my pumpers are in their 50s or 60s, and they were a little hesitant to start at first using it, but once they got started and went through it, they got really used to it, and they like the fact that it doesn't create any more work at the end of the month for them. So my name's Dallas Golden. I am the owner of Golden Oil and Ranch. I'm an exploration and production company based in Midland, Texas. All of my production is in West Texas. We operate the wells. We drill wells, work on wells, and produce oil and gas. We were based 100% on Excel. So the pumpers would either use their own computer and put the tank gauges in an Excel program that I created, or that they created. They already had one. And at the end of the month, they would email or mail those in. Some of them just did hand gauges, and then I would by hand put the tank gauges and water meter and water gauges into my Excel sheet, because my tank gauges were sometimes a little bit different than theirs, and I would use the run tickets to kind of balance everything, and then I would use my version and submit it to the Railroad Commission. So one of the problems we were trying to solve with GreaseBook was getting the time from when a well has a problem in production to when I know about it down to that day. So sometimes what would happen, a pumper wouldn't really catch that we were losing some production, but until the end of the month when I got the run tickets, then I would be able to see that, and then I would be able to take action on that. But with getting the production daily, I can see what we're making daily. We're drilling new wells right now, and it's really important to see what these new wells are doing every day, what the pressures are doing, and my investors are interested in seeing what the wells are doing every day. So I can send reports out very easily instead of having to transfer it by hand in an email. I can just go on GreaseBook's website, generate a report, and email that out straight from the website. In the past, I've worked with larger companies, some of the majors, and the software that they had was really robust. It was way out of my price range. So I'm a small company, independent exploration and production company, and I just don't have the budget to buy any kind of program like that, and it wouldn't make sense. It's too involved. It requires a staff to help run it, and I don't have the capacity to help run the program. And GreaseBook is really made to run on an iPhone or Android or an iPad, and that works. We don't have to buy any more hardware. We don't have to go out and buy any kind of special, one of those laptops that can be used out in the field. One of the obstacles I had to overcome to start working with GreaseBook was I'm just a very small company. It's just me, and all my pumpers are contract pumpers. I was really just struggling with the idea of, am I big enough to use something like this yet? Am I ready for something? Am I going to get in over my head? And I was worried my pumpers, being in their 50s and 60s, they might not take to the technology or the change. The ease of using GreaseBook has exceeded my expectations. So, to take guys who have never used this kind of software before, have never used any kind of production software before in the past, like you would if you were working for a major, going from writing it down by hand or using Excel to, using an app on your phone or an iPad was going to be a big hurdle. Once we rolled it out, it really surprised me at how easy it was for the pumpers to use it, and how quickly they were able to, get used to it, and they really liked it. I would just recommend to try it. Look at it, you can study it, you can talk about it, but with a money back guarantee, you can do it like I did. And I just did it myself. I didn't tell my pumpers about it. I decided I'm going to get everything I need. I'm going to act like the pumper. And for about a month, I did that. And, I loved it. I knew I would love it, but, I thought, yeah, I think this is going to work for me. And, if you really just try it out, there's really not any downsides that I've seen. If you don't like it, you have a money back return guarantee. So, there's really no risk to the operator. When I'm using the GreaseBook, I use it on my iPhone most of the time, just because I'm connected to cellular through that. If I'm out in the field and I want to make an adjustment, if I go gauge my own tanks, if the pumper's gone, then I'll use my phone. I also have an iPad that I had prior to getting GreaseBook, and I've installed it on that. And I prefer the iPad over everything. It's really easy. I had one of my pumpers go buy an iPad from Best Buy just because they really liked having a bigger screen and they wanted to use GreaseBook for other operators. Yeah, my phone is probably my preferred, unless I'm in Wi-Fi, then I use my iPad. Using it on a computer is really easy. You can see the graphs really well. It's how I send out reports to my working interest owners. It's almost like giving the pumpers a raise in time. I'm paying for GreaseBook, very economical for me, but the pumpers have regained a lot of time. So when they go out there and they're at the tank battery, they gauge that tank, they check on the well, they enter the information right there. And we have the tank straps, already in GreaseBook. It is what it is. There's no, at the end of the month, you're not going back and trying to fix something. You're not trying to correct a formula in Excel. You run tickets and mailing them in. And if you lose a run ticket, then you're calling the purchaser to try to get another run ticket out there. I really feel like it's been a huge benefit for the pumpers. For myself, being able to generate a production report and send it to my investors has been huge. It's probably not a monetary thing as much as just a service side that I'm able to provide now. And here recently we had a well go down with a hole in tubing, and it was on a lease that doesn't make a whole lot. That pumper, he was one of the guys that would send it in by hand, but with the app, I was able to see, he sent a message or comment on the app that said, hey, we have a well down with a possible hole in tubing. And I was able to see it that day, where normally, it would be a few weeks, before I would really see something like that, because, we just didn't communicate a whole lot. Less than your last pumper's gauge, you might have a problem. You need to investigate that. And so it automatically flags that, and you can go, investigate that further. So it's been great.